Hi everybody. I wanted to make one more video tonight even though I have a headache, and I just wanted to make kind of a short one. I'll do one about my testimony when I was in the occult later on this week if I'm up to it, you guys. But what I wanted to talk about is something that I really haven't talked about much here lately, but about Hawaii and all this lava they're having, this volcano, all of this stuff. You guys, when God chastises people, look at Sodom and Gomorrah. In the Bible, it talks about there was a lot of sin and wickedness. And God won't play games with you forever. I tell people, excuse me, I had a hiccup. I tell people that even though He's very loving, He won't play games forever. And there's people that just don't get that, and they die in their sin and go to hell. They think they have tomorrow, and they don't. And it's very sad. It's very heartbreaking, and I think it breaks God's heart too. I'm sure it does. But, if they don't want God in their life, He's not going to force Himself into their life. The Lord will never force Himself into people's lives. He's not like the devil. The devil will cram himself down your throat every chance he gets through sin and wickedness. And God is not that way. He's very loving and gentle and kind, and He will work with you for a while, but you have to take Him serious, to take Him at His word, and to understand how much He hates sin. There has been a lot of wickedness in these places where you are seeing natural disasters occurring. Now obviously we don't know what, goes on in every single one of the places that has different natural disasters, but we know there's something going on there that God is punishing. When you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, there was a lot of evil and wickedness there, and the people refused to repent. And what finally ended up happening is He rained down fire and brimstone on that whole city, and it basically destroyed all the people. And I think there was quite a few people living there, all of them but Lot and his wife, and obviously the angels that let him out. And I think they had a couple of daughters that they let out of there, um, and it was really quite perverted what happened later. You know, um, the daughters of Lot, I don't know if I can't remember if they all were drinking or what happened, but they ended up having relations with their father and getting pregnant. And it was quite confusing what these people were thinking. When I have a chance, I'm going to have to restudy that, because that is quite interesting to read about Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to have to look in my Bible. I've got a headache tonight, you guys, to find exactly where that's all located at. But I will look at that and study it, and perhaps we'll talk about it a little later when I don't have a headache. Anyways, but that's an example of what happened to people that refuse to obey. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in anything, and they'll say, oh, you're crazy. God, why would He, punish people, and then there's ones that will say, well, He doesn't even exist, so you all are just crazy. And that's okay, you guys. We hear and see a lot of that, and we just need to pray for those people. that are that lost and confused about the Lord and just all of it. And, when people obey God, they serve Him, they have blessings, and when they don't serve Him and they live in sin and wickedness and they don't want to repent, God will punish them. And this is so important for you to get this, what I'm telling you, because we're seeing so many natural disasters happening, at different times all around the world. And we need to be able to understand what that is. Yes, it's part of the, latter days, the end times. But there's a reason for it. If people are obeying God and serving Him, He's not going to bring calamity, and all of that to their area. So we need to understand that too. If you read a little in the Bible, it talks about God blesses those that serve Him and that obey Him and honor Him. How is it a blessing if you're serving God, you're honoring Him and obeying Him? How would it be a blessing? If your whole little town is like that and y'all are just honoring God every way you can, how would it be a blessing if a huge tornado came through or a volcano erupted? So you have to understand that. And the people in Hawaii, there had to have been some kind of sin and wickedness. And one of them that God hates so badly is abortion. That's the reason that in the gay agenda, God hates that, because that gay agenda, you guys, these little kids get involved in it. They get told it's all right to be the opposite gender. And then they grow up with their whole life. They serve the devil, living in wickedness and in sin. And with abortions, that's ending God's created life, and so I'm just thinking that there is a lot. I'm not thinking it, I know it, because the Lord has showed me, there's so much wickedness and all the different things that are going on in Hawaii are going on to punish sin and wickedness. So know that it's there for a purpose. The sin that the Lord is watching playing out in Hawaii, He doesn't want it to spread further. So He's punishing them, and He's hoping that those people that live there and the people in the different parts of the world will notice this and see it and will start to repent and change their life. If you have sin in your life, even if you don't know for sure, just say, Lord, I repent of all my sin. Give me the strength to overcome the sin and the temptation and refine me, God. I give my life to you. Because God has to punish sin, you guys. If He didn't punish Sodom and Gomorrah, what if that would have spread, all that wickedness? A big thing there was the gay agenda. There was many gay people there, many people participating in the gay lifestyle. And when you read in the Bible a little bit about when the angels, they were male angels, when they came and visited Lot, when they visited him, and you guys, there isn't, Mary Kay Baxter talked about angels, but she said that they were all male. She didn't say there was women angels that I remember. I could be confused, but if I remember right, she said they were all male. I could be backwards a little, but I think I remember that right. But my point on what she said on her testimony is that there was, those angels were male that came to visit Lot and his family. And the other homosexual men saw these new, they didn't know it was angels. They just thought it was some men. And they were like going crazy, wanting to break down the door because they wanted to have sex with those new men that were new to town, and which was the angels. And but anyways, had God not punished that town and destroyed it, it would have spread. All of this wickedness would have spread. And so, it's very important to notice that with sin and wickedness, there's going to be destruction. And frequently, it's going to be quite massive. And, it's important for people to understand that and to understand why this volcano is happening. Why there's lava everywhere. Because I know some people are going to say, well, why can't God make it stop? Or why doesn't he see this? He sees it, you guys, but he's punishing wickedness. Do you know, at one time, I'm not sure where, I looked up the word abortion in Hawaii on Google, and I'm not sure which year, this was in recent years. I don't remember which year it was, but they were wanting to do experimental abortions in people. And they were wanting to experiment and see what kind of methods would cause an abortion. What would be the quickest. And they were so inhumane. I can't remember all of the stuff I read on Google. I'll have to look it up later, you guys, when I don't have a headache. But it was inhumane. What they wanted to do to terminate the pregnancies. It was just sickening and cruel and horrible. And it was very experimental. And some of it, if I remember right, they wanted to like deplete oxygen to the child or deplete nutrients, and very painful. It looked like very painful ways to die. And that was just some of it. I can't remember all of it. And abortion ends a life. It's not just tissue. It's a human being. And as I said, abortion angers God. Think about it, you guys. What if your mom decided to abort you instead of having you? How would we feel about that if you didn't have a chance to even experience life? And that's why it angers God. I mean, women can be forgiven, they can repent, but the sin of abortion angers God. And wherever there's a lot of abortion or experimental, and they're experimenting around on horrible, horrible, ways that look painful, and it is painful, even without, the scientists doing more experiments to abort children. It's horrible. I'm sure those